They start buying cars, they start going on vacation, buying new things, and the economy does good when there's a lot of money going around. They know that they have to act sooner rather than later in order to avoid an economic disaster. Jerome Powell, chair of the Federal Reserve, went before lawmakers earlier this week to discuss the state of the economy. And it's interesting because we are in a compelling time as we begin to transition to a looser policy. Now, notably, Jerome Powell made the comment that the weakening labor market that we're seeing right now is just as important to address as fighting inflation is. In his comments, the Federal Reserve has made it clear that they know that we are entering a transition period economically. Now, the way that they proceed moving forward is going to have a lasting impact. Now, before we continue, let me just say that if you like content like this, leave a comment down below letting me know what you think. Make sure you subscribe for more content like this and hit that thumbs up button for me. Now, for now, the Federal Reserve is keeping interest rates at their highest level that they've been in about 2 decades. But they have made the comment that they know that keeping interest rates too high or waiting too long to loosen policy can have a dire consequence. And part of that consequence can be elevated levels of unemployment. Now, when do companies typically hire people? When do companies go on a hiring spree? Well, usually it's during times of growth when business is good and money is around. When rates are low, money is cheap and easy to come by, businesses will take advantage. Now, this usually leads to jobs for people, more money going around, and most importantly, money hitting people's pockets. Now, the exact opposite is true when there is a tighter policy and money is harder to come by. When rates are higher and it's harder to borrow, businesses will not have as much money flowing throughout the business, and this trickles down into people as well, so less money is hitting people's pockets. When businesses have a lot, I don't want to say free money, but easy money that just had very low interest rates, businesses will just eat it up. They will invest in their business, invest in technology and modern things. They will hire on a whole bunch of people, and this just leads to economic growth because more people are hired, and if the market is competitive, people are making good jobs. What does that lead to for people? They start buying cars, they start going on vacation, buying new things, and the economy does good when there's a lot of money going around. Now, for the most part, people have kept their jobs during this recent economic cycle, but companies are feeling the strain from higher interest rates now more than ever, and they are letting people go because of it. Now, the current data is 4.1%. You may have seen that in the news. If you haven't, that is the number that is being talked about. Last year, we were at about 3.4% for unemployment. Right now, we're at about 4.1%. And to some people, they hear 4.1%, and that does sound like a low number, but you have to remember these are actual people that we are talking about. And that is why it's so important for the Federal Reserve to get this right, because we are affecting real people's lives with this. Now, not everybody can be rich. Not everybody can be a boss, and you need some people to be workers. Now, workers are the backbone of the American economy, and we want to take care of them, not see them struggle, being let go from their jobs just because the Fed decided to keep policy tight for so long. Now, this is exactly the point in the cycle that we are at. We know that a transition is going to happen soon. Rates are going to decrease. The exact timing you do not know, because if you do it too soon, you might undo some of the good that has been done with lowering inflation. But also, if you do it too late, remember, you will affect real people's lives when those unemployment numbers go up. Now, with the Federal Reserve going before lawmakers earlier this week and making the comments that they have, They understand the current situation. They know that they have to act sooner rather than later in order to avoid an economic disaster. Now, knowing that you have to act and acting at the appropriate time are two completely different things. You think about, most people know that they should eat a healthy diet for overall wellness and to be healthy, but a lot of times people don't pay attention to their diet until there's damage and health things that are going wrong with them. Now, will the Fed act at the appropriate time? September is the date that's been kind of penciled in. The markets have already kind of set their eyes on it. It's being discussed. The Fed is very wise in saying that they will not put a date on it. It might end up being next month if unemployment numbers tick up at a bigger percentage than, at an uncomfortable percentage compared to the numbers that we see right now. It might be September, or it might not even be then. It might be later on into this year. They will not set a target date, but markets, economic people, people that know what's going on, September is kind of the time frame for rate cuts that we are seeing. And the Fed made the interesting comment that, the rate cuts that we saw in 2008 and the rate cuts that we saw during the pandemic, where they were basically at like 0%, very, very extremely low rates, probably won't see that again. They said won't see it again, but in all honesty, you won't see it until the next disaster, because it is something that they have at their disposal if things get very bad. But rate cuts, if we're talking about 200 points over a period of time, obviously, to kind of reset the market and put the economy in a different place or on a different path, that is probably where we are headed. Possibly, most likely looking like that's going to start in September. If you like content like this, leave a comment down below letting me know what you think. Make sure you subscribe for more content like this and hit that thumbs up button for me.